The remaining lump of soldier screams and attempts to wriggle away, but the girl pins him down and tells him he still has parts he can lose. Sometime later, the girl sits in front of the now rounded torso and smiles. "There we are," as she whispers. "Look how nice and slim you are." The second soldier is a peerless Lothario. Each night, a new woman is invited to his manor to spend the night. The girl breaks into his home and kills the women at his side, then uses her axe to hack off his manhood as he trembles and begs for mercy. The third soldier has long since left the service and is now living a quiet life with his family in a remote village. After they have fallen asleep, the girl takes her axe and cleaves the support beams of the house, causing it to collapse. She then sets fire to the wreckage, creating a great bonfire that can be seen for miles in all directions. Suddenly, the soldier's son crawls from the wreckage, covered from head to toe in terrible burns. As his eyes fall on the girl who has murdered his family, she hands him her axe and flees into the dark of night, never to be seen again. Long ago, in a faraway kingdom, there were 3 brothers. The eldest brother was a king who ruled over the nation entire. He was a most terrifying king, feared by all. Each day the king would select one of his subjects to execute as a sacrifice. This day he chopped off a mother's head and forced her family to watch. The head spun 3 times as it flew through the air before landing next to the head of her son, who the king had previously killed. Oh, the horror of it all. But the king merely watched the sight unfold before him and laughed in the most unsettling voice. One day the king contracted an illness most dire, one which caused his body to rot while he was still alive. But though diseased, the king would still drag his decaying flesh to the executions all the same. His retainers dared not defy their king, so they continued to kill day after day after day after day. In the end, the king rotted and died. He was a disgusting, foul, rotten death. But his retainers continued carrying out executions before the king's rotted corpse every day killing. Every day the rotted king and the rotted retainers and the rotted citizens and the rotted you. I raised the cry of my birth, the sound of heated iron taking shape, a steel mallet striking my form. Born to deliver karmic justice, I enter the world under the careful watch of spark and flame that give light to the gloom. I am a blade, born of deafening roar. I am a weapon, I am iron will. I grant death, I transform the dread and screams of my foes into elation. I festoon my iron skin with their viscera. When I rob them of life, I am filled with dark joy. When I crush them beneath me, I find meaning in my birth, and I continue to kill, and that I might share this delight with all. I kill and a kill and a kill. I am a weapon, iron will. I am shattered. At battle and blood's end, my body is torn asunder by malice and hate. Today I again engage the red dragon in battle, and magical forces meet leaping iron fangs to create a bloodstorm. My steel cursed, I sink into the slumbering black. I am a weapon, I am iron will. I dream. It is the dream of a small butterfly. Ah, reference. In it, the butterfly is caught in a light rain and struggles against it with all its might. In the darkest of nights, I behold a dream that will never come true. I am a weapon. I am iron will. This is a story of a time long, long ago. There was once a beautiful bird with resplendent feathers that lived a quiet life deep in the forest. One day a lost child wandered into the woods. He came from a place of famine and had been abandoned in the forest as a way to reduce the number of mouths to feed. Taking pity on the feeble, starving child, the beautiful bird plucked one of its own feathers and gave it to him. When he returned home, his family was overjoyed by the feather and permitted him to live with them once more. Hearing the child's story, one person after another descended on the forest to tell the beautiful bird how poor and unfortunate they were. Each time the bird would pluck a feather and give it away, until it had no more to give, and its once beautiful visage had become shabby beyond recognition. But the shabby bird had no regrets. One day the original child appeared before the shabby bird, which was featherless and freezing in the cold. It had come seeking a bird with resplendent feathers, that he might repay the creature's earlier kindness. Overjoyed, the shabby bird said to the child, "It is I you seek. If I may beg a favor, would you hold me to your chest and warm my freezing body?" Sparing a single glance at the shabby bird, the child called it a liar and cut it down with a large blade. He then roasted the bird, ate every last part, and set out anew to find the beautiful bird who had once saved his life. It was a beast that lived in a cavern's deepest, most untouched depths. It had massive horns, a body like steel, breath of scorching fire. The peace-loving villagers hated this monstrous beast with the head of a bull and the body of a human. They feared it, and soon the beast came to be known as the Minotaur of the Labyrinth. Contrary to its terrifying appearance, the Minotaur was exceptionally kind. Not only did it refrain from harming other creatures, it took great care not to trample flowers beneath its oafish feet as it walked. Indeed, the reason it lived so deep inside a cavern was to help avoid frightening the villagers. One day, a lost girl wandered into the beast's cavern. Frightened by the sight of it, she cried so hard she eventually passed out, which left the beast in quite the quandary. I have no choice. The beast definitely decided I must take the poor thing back to the village, for her mother and father would be terribly worried. 2 days after the girl vanished, her panicked parents found her sleeping soundly in front of their home. On the ground a short distance away was the dead body of the Minotaur. It had been impaled by several swords, and the blood scattered around it held an almost otherworldly quality. Yet there was no indication the beast had attacked the girl. In fact, it looked as though it had been trying to place as much distance between itself and her as possible, so as not to dirty her with its blood, almost as if it didn't want her to be afraid, and then, having curled up to make itself as small as possible, the monster died. Memoir of June 6, 2003, approximately 1500, which is about 3 o'clock. A massive white humanoid, initially called the Weapon, but since renamed the Giant, falls from the sky before Tokyo's Shinjuku ward, inflicting tremendous damage. At the same time, a large red creature, henceforth referred to as the Dragon, appears and engages the Giant in combat, though both the nature of its attacks and their utility remain unclear. As self-defense force contemplates methods by which they might attack the target, the government establishes a Bureau of Emergency Countermeasures. 6 days later, memoir, June 12, 2003, approximately 1600. So, 6 days and an hour. The Giant, which was locked in combat with the Dragon, suddenly begins to collapse for reasons unknown. The Dragon is then shot down by the 6th Division, 303rd Squadron of the Air Self-Defense Force. No official record exists of who issued the order to attack the Dragon. Work has begun to retrieve the remains of both the Giant and the Dragon, but no official verification has ever been made regarding which organization performed the retrieval. December in 2003, the first case of white chlorination syndrome is confirmed in Tokyo's Shinjuku ward. July of 2004, humans continue to turn violent due to white chlorination syndrome, with fighting growing increasingly intense in infected regions. With the cause of the disease still unclear, the infected are isolated and violent riots are suppressed by force. Main thoroughfares are sealed and rail transportation is halted, later leading to all of Shinjuku being sealed off. At this time, the prospect of asking the American military for non-official intervention is considered, but the government defers. Meanwhile, research begins on mesoparticles obtained from the Giant and the Dragon, as well as on countermeasures for white chlorination syndrome. This research ultimately leads to the founding of the Project Gestalt a decade later. My family has decided I am to be betrothed. I cannot resist, for I am but a tool. The man who's become my husband possessed terribly cold eyes, but he too is a mere tool to be used so his family might prosper. He treats me well in his own way, but I was still unable to properly respond to his kindness. One night he calls me to his chambers. Still thinking him a kind man, I go to him willingly. As he greets me, I stare at the beautiful white katana he holds in his hand. Here's the facade backstory. Capitalism. They were a frighteningly diligent people. They would clear forests and hunt animals even when they had no need. They developed techniques to preserve food they were unable to eat, and earned more money than could ever be spent. Yet there was not a single one among them who did not accept these practices, for none knew of any other customs. They were a frighteningly studious people. Their grasp of calculation and science exceeded any pretense of practicality, and they would repeatedly engage in spirited debates regarding predictions of the future. They invented an increasingly difficult language and created an infinite series of complex machines which they would immediately discard. But there was not a single one among them who looked back, for none knew of any reason for concern. They were a frighteningly obedient people. Without ever being told, they would greet the morning sun at the same time, in the same clothes, while toiling away in the same cramped rooms. Yet there was not a single one among them who complained, for none knew what else they should be doing. Having worked far too much, the people lost their forests and took to living atop the sand. Having grown far too intelligent, the people conversed in a language that no other peoples could comprehend. Having grown far too well behaved, the people were unable to defy the laws that would be established one after the other, and came to live their lives enclosed by tens of thousands of rules. Spear of the Usurper. In a far-off land, there was a man who acted as a double for the nation's prince, performing duties in his stead as was required. One day, having finished his work, he returned to the prince's chamber to find the princess lying naked in his bed. As the double stood in place, dumbfounded, the man who shared his face sneered and invited him to join them. The double loved the prince's sister, and he felt that the princess, who admired him as her brother, loved him as well. Indeed, she was the only thing that kept him going in an otherwise miserable job, for the prince was a most despicable man indeed. Eventually, it came to pass that a war was to be waged under the prince's command. The night before it was to begin, the prince took his double aside and promised him a night with his sister if he could bring him the head of the enemy general. And as the prince chuckled with delight, the double took up his spear and thrust it through the prince's gaping mouth. The war over, the prince made a queen of his sister, and would inflict wounds upon his own face and throat, an act which would occur every time she called out to him using her brother's name. Before long, the prince was found dead, his face burned and a spear thrust through his open mouth. The man's face, hideously burned, was the very picture of serenity. Oh boy. This story takes place in a small country at around the same latitude as the northernmost member of a nation of city-states that are a part of a region, with a village that is attempting to establish a trade agreement with another village on a tiny island in the ocean south of a country that used to have an alliance with a republic next to a kingdom where a queen resided. It was asked by the owner of a shop frequented by a wet nurse who looked after the child born of an adulterous relationship by the wife of the master of a foolish servant who fell in love with a beautiful queen who appears in the poems of a minstrel, whom was loved by the country's king's wife's little brother's cousin's big brother's son-in-law's foster child. Where does one store the throne that was supposed to be adorned with decorations crafted from the materials of the handle of the lid of a pot that is the same weight as tableware, that is the same color as a weather vane on a neighboring house, that can be seen from the peephole of a door and the reflection of a mirror with an ornamental frame decorated with silver carvings engraved with a fragment that was made when creating the whetstone used to polish this kitchen knife? The person who heard that question was the wife's husband's, little sister's, big brother's, daughter's, groom's, little brother's, nephew's, father's, mother's, husband's, bride's, niece's, father's-in-law's, wife's husband's, little sister's, big brother's, daughter's, groom's, little brother's, nephew's, father's, mother's, husband's, bride's, niece's, father-in-law's, wife's husband's, little sister's, big brother's, daughter's, groom's, little brother's, nephew's, father's, mother's, husband's, bride's, niece's, father-in-law's, wife's, father's, little sister's, big brother's, daughter's, groom's, little brother's, nephew's, father's, mother's, husband's, bride's, niece's, father's-in-law's, wife's, husband's, little sister's, big brother's, daughter's, groom's, little brother's, nephew's, father's. And it never actually ends. There's no period. It just keeps going. In the distant past of a land known as the Golden Isle, there existed a sword crafted from every kind of metal and precious gem in the land. So sharp was its edge that even the slightest cut would leave an unsealable wound that eventually drained the victim both of their blood and life. In a strange turn of fate, the sword eventually ended up in the hands of a destitute woman who sold her body to get by. The sword was as long as she was tall, and she would not wield it effectively, so she instead slid it between her sheets as a surprise for the men who had used her. The sword was so sharp they felt no pain when cut, and soon died without even knowing it was happening. The woman would then help herself to their coin, causing her own purse to swell. Making use of her gains, the woman dressed most beautifully and soon acquired every kind of metal and precious gem in the land. But it was not enough for her, so she decided to melt down the sword and obtain the gems contained within, a desire made manifest by the sword's beauty. Thus decided, the woman heaved the sword to her shoulders and made for the blacksmith. But on the way to the smith, the sheer weight of the sword caused the woman to lose her balance because she could not wield it effectively, if you remember, and she fell from a bridge into the river below. So unshakable was the woman's greed that she could not bring herself to relinquish her grip upon it. The woman's pale and bloodless corpse was found washed up on the riverside the following day. Long ago, in a faraway kingdom, there lived 3 brothers. The youngest was a terrifically lazy lad who spent most of his days fast asleep. However, he was every bit as cheerful as he was lethargic, and so was beloved as all. When the nation was beset upon by a most contagious disease, the youngest son did naught but laze about the palace, humming to himself all the while. But his cheerful music comforted the townspeople, so instead of hating him, they sang his praises. "Oh, what a fine young man," they would say. "Just the finest young man you will ever find." When the nation became embroiled in war, the youngest son did not but laze about the palace, telling stories of the good old days all the while. But his fascinating stories helped the townspeople forget the horrors of war, so instead of hating him, they sang his praises. "Oh, what an amazing young man," they would say. "Just the most amazing young man you will ever find." One day, the youngest son was lazing about the palace as usual when he realized he could no longer hear the voices of the townspeople, and he wondered why that might be. He lazed and he wandered, he lazed and he wondered, he lazed and he wondered. Eventually, all that wondering tired him out, and he went to sleep. That is why, in that nation where all have perished from war and disease, the only sound that can be heard is the soft snoring of a young man. It is a nation of happiness, a nation of happiness, a nation of happiness, a nation of happiness, a nation of happiness. The captain tramples life under his feet. The screams of others transform into the songs of joy. Flowing tears change from despair into darkness. Conflict beckons revenge and gives way to new solitude. He had grown old. The king's dauntless gaze had lost its light, and his stalwart body had grown soft. What's more, every ounce of fear and vanity he had gained with age now gnawed away at his heart. The king was afraid, so he repeatedly ordered the invasion of neighboring countries so as to hold on to the lands he had been sworn to protect. The king was afraid, so he tried to take everything through violence and oppression, for he no longer trusted his own advisors and vassals. There was a dragon that had sworn fealty to the king. This wingless creature would do anything the king commanded, for he had been saved by the king once and sworn to repay this debt with his very soul. Even if the king's orders were folly and madness, the dragon would follow them to the last, for his king was justice itself. One day, the dragon requested an audience with the king. He was covered in blood from his latest victim, the king's own son, whom the regent had ordered the dragon to assassinate. The bloody dragon hung his head low and said, "I cannot defy your orders, O king, but neither can I obey them any longer. I beg of you, kill me and grant me release." This is a tale of a foolish king and a wingless dragon and a nation that fell centuries ago. Even now the wind blows ceaselessly across the grasslands. It blows just as it did on the day the king and dragon made their pact. My weapon of choice. There once was a warrior in a frontier nation who feared not death. He was so brawny and powerful, arrows were said to bounce harmlessly off his flesh. For this reason, the warrior always threw himself into the thick of any battle. One day, a beautiful bird appeared before the warrior in a dream. The bird commended the warrior for his valor in battle and offered to grant him one of 2 wishes. The bird could bring an end to war and grant peace to all the world, or the bird could bequeath the warrior an immortal body. The warrior, like an idiot, chose immortality. From that day forth, the warrior's exploits were nothing short of astonishing. He mowed down foes in uncountable numbers. No amount of arrows or swords or axes could slow his march. The king showered him with titles and gifts, and for a time it seemed the warrior's days of stunning glory would continue until the end of time. But conflict did not cease. Eventually, the warrior's frontier nation was invaded so often that the flames of war left the entire country in ruins. Crops withered, people perished, and before long there were none left who even knew the warrior's name. The shattered warrior was tortured day and night by endless starvation, but his body refused to let him die. So he sought out the bird again and pleaded for it to grant him release. "Ah, but you cannot die," chirped the bird in response. "You will never die." She was a hopelessly slow woman, impossibly clumsy. It would take her 3 times longer than anyone else to accomplish a task. She walked slowly, talked slowly, she even blinked slowly. So slow was the woman that she could not even draw water to anyone's satisfaction. The children began calling her the cow and laughing when she passed by, but she would only chuckle in response. She was a hopelessly dull woman. When she fell and drew blood, she would carry on as though in a daze. Though coins often dropped from her purse, she never managed to retrieve one. And if someone spoke ill of her to her face, it would take hours for her to realize the insult. When the children saw her, they would hurl rocks with glee. She was a hopelessly foolish woman. One summer, when the village was suffering a most terrible drought, the woman vanished. The children all starved to death. The villagers spent no time worrying about the woman who ran away. 2 days later, rain fell and the village was saved, but the woman did not return. And on the 20th day, a shaman arrived at the village. The shaman held a spear with a pair of horns that was oiled and sticky to the touch. So heavy was the spear that none could wield it effectively, although even if they managed to lift it, the weapon was incapable of piercing through anything at all. The shaman forced it on the people and left it with them, but none dared approach it, and to this day it quietly slumbers in a forgotten corner of the village. This is the story of a sorrowful prince in a tale of a kingdom in a time long past. Attacked by the forces of darkness, the nation was annihilated in a single night by inhuman soldiers with red eyes and a group of black dragons so numerous they blotted out the sky. Having infiltrated the king's castle, the black dragons visited upon the king and queen a most horrible fate. It is said that their stomachs were torn open by the black dragon's mighty claws, and the very floor they stood upon became a sea of blood. The prince and princess, though racked with sorrow, escaped to live another day. The prince, spurred by the shock of witnessing his parents' tragic end, became consumed by a desire to exact vengeance. This is the story of a terrifying prince, a history of a conflict in the long ago. Obsessed with laying low his hated enemies, the prince indulges in his vengeance day after day after day. Even when faced with foes who take heel, he chases them down and tears them apart from groin to gullet. The carnage is so horrific his fellow soldiers whisper tales of how they saw him mutilating bodies that are already long dead. Perhaps because no commander can control him, the prince is sent to an even harsher battle. This is the story of a fooled prince, the whereabouts of fate in the long ago. The prince's next battleground is a castle that guards a goddess. He lays waste to all before him, hacking arms, cleaving legs, rending stomachs, gouging eyes, separating heads from shoulders. But soon the injured prince can no longer tell the difference between the blood that rains down and that which comes from his own wounds, and he collapses in a heap. As he writhes in pain, coughing up gouts of hot blood, he lifts his gaze and sees a hated dragon standing before him. This is the story of a mad prince, a meeting with a dragon in the long ago. An injured red dragon stands before the prince, and though it is a different color than the beast that killed his parents, he feels the need to avenge himself upon it regardless. But as he raises his sword, the dragon says, "In exchange for both our souls, human, I will save your life and grant you power." After some thought, the prince makes the pact. It matters not to him what he might lose in the deal or that it involves a dragon. All that he cares about is that he can continue swinging his blade. So he swings and swings and swings, and with each blow his heart fills with a desire as black as the deepest night. There once existed a spear whose holder would inevitably meet a violent end. Eventually, the weapon found its way to a mechanical automaton that possessed no soul. And though it was a mere machine, the spear delivered countless deaths upon it all the same. The automaton warred against mechanical weapons much like itself. It was crushed to death, burned to death, and thrown to its death from great heights, yet each time the automaton was reborn and thrown into battle anew. The war became fiercer and more complicated. There were stealth detonations, suicide attacks, false operations, and betrayals by companions. Indeed, it seemed to the soulless automaton that it was inhabiting a kind of infinite cyclical hell. Finally, the automaton died a final time in order to save its trusted companions, an act that precluded the possibility of ever returning to life again. But as pangs of agony spread through its body, the automaton found its final rest. And that is it. Those are all of the weapon stories. Hooray! We made it. Let me just do this real quick for no reason at all. Absolutely none. Let's take a look at our town with the sad music. Alright, it's time to put a nice little end to all this, shall we?
Oh there.
Yay, violence. Well, that's one way of solving it. Okay. Let's save one. I will save two. And then I'll save a third. For no reason. No reason at all. Alright, it's time for this song and dance again. Yes. Although, I need to actually grab some water real quick, so I will be right back. There we go. Whoops. Hey, oop, where did I put my controller?
And now the path is open.
So now it's time to go through the sequence of companion loss. Man, I would love to have a garden space like that. I mean, look at that. I mean, maybe not the collapsed statues, but generally. Maybe put in some wisteria. Actually get some, maybe some glass in here. So pretty though. Oh.
To whom does the true voice speak? To whom does the true form show itself? You must answer.
It can talk!
I ask, why did humans disappear from the world?
The hell is this?
I believe this is some manner of password.
Password?
Yes. The correct answer should grant us access to the castle. I feel confident I've heard this somewhere before. To whom does the true voice speak? To whom does the true form show itself? I ask, why did humans disappear from the world? You must answer. I answer because of a black disease. I ask, how can humans extend their lives? I answer by separating body from soul. I ask, what is the destination of souls? I answer, they are placed in their corresponding shells. Very well. You are acknowledged as master. You may enter. Well then, it seems the way is open.
Okay. And we're back to this.
It's the twins from your village.
Popla? Devila? What are you doing here?
Hey, any chance you'll just go back to the village? This is a very dangerous place. Even if you can find Yona here, you probably can't get her out.
How did you get here?
Shh. We're asking the questions right now.
What are you two doing here?
I'm not going to answer that. You can figure it out yourself.
We're here to rescue Yona.
No dice, huh? Well, I guess we don't have a choice then. No, I suppose not. How sad. We didn't want to fight you. We really didn't want to.
That little eye movement that she makes at the end is a really good choice directionally there.
What's happening?
Sorry, but this fate was predetermined. Still, we spoke to truth. We really wanted to avoid this if possible. We were hoping to put it off for 100 years or so, until the next generation came along.
What are you talking about?
Are they shades?
I don't think so. It's a lie. I don't believe it.
Kill them, you glorious bastards! Kill them all!
We never thought you'd grow to be this powerful.
This is madness. Why do you block our path?
You have no cause to speak so with us, Grimoire Vice. You are a traitor.
Okay, it's impossible to...
What now? They copied my powers.
Shit on a shingle. They can use the sealed verses.
Of course we can. The power came from us in the first place. You were simply loaned a small portion of it.
Vice, are you all right?
Tevela, Popola, why are you guys doing this? Why are you siding with the Shades?
Oh, okay.
Why?
The answer to every riddle lies within the heart of the Shadow Lord.
The Shadow Lord? So you've been on his side this whole time?
You must search for that answer yourself. You've got to face your own truth now. Please, enter the Shadow Lord's castle.
Tevela and Popola are fighting us.
Yes, they do seem to be putting us through a great deal of...
You okay, Vice?
How odd. For long years, my mind and tongue have been my greatest assets. But now the latter seems to be... Well,
Vice?
do not look at me like that. I am Grimoire Weiss. I am perfect with... Oh.
I think I hear a waltz.
It certainly is a grand affair.
Bunch of dancing bastards.
They're all Shades!
Yeah, but you guys aren't humans either. Sorry about y'all.
I think we're locked in!
It's not like I was planning to leave.
Yeah, it's a bit late for that.
Okay, but y'all are murdering tons of people. That, I mean, I know y'all made them, I think. My understanding, I think, of this is that we, as in the ones we're playing, are, I guess not humans, but human-like thing. And they've just been letting us live in the world because, I guess, it's permanent sunlight anymore, and when humans went, I guess, gestalt and turned into shades, they can't be in light anymore. I don't know. I'm not sure how the whole... I mean, did they just not implement a night cycle, I wonder? Or is it a permanent sunshine, like summer in, like, Iceland?
Damn it! They won't stop coming!
I'll open the next door. Cover me.
Oh, how I do love a good
Vice!
Hmm? Oh, right. Protect the hussy, yes? Good plan. Let's go.
Protect Kaine for us!
Kaine! Hurry!
It's not open yet?
Do I look like a goddamn locksmith to you?
No, you idiot. What are you doing?
Lock doesn't want to open? Fine. I'll just break it down.
Stop, you impatient fool.
Goddamn no good bullshit bastard! Open the fuck up already! Ugh! Got it.
Kaine, look out!
Why are you... Okay. If they're like, oh no, don't do the babies, why did you put all the babies here?
Are they laughing?
These things are freaking me out!
You're murdering me, so I can't really do much about it.
Kaine! What's wrong?
You sent them here! Why? Yeah, but then
We need to help
this doesn't go
Kaine.
forward unless I do it. You don't, game, you didn't give me the option.
We need to help Kaine.
Oh, that's right.
You okay?
Yeah, but we got problems. We don't need forgiveness, asshole.
Kaine?
Wait a second. Wait a second. Your heart is different. It ain't hatred, and it ain't sadness. What's going on here, sunshine?
How should I know?
Kaine, are you alright?
I'm fine. Let's just kill some shit and move on, alright?
Interesting. Oh, how very interesting.
Damn shit.
And then, here comes the mechanical one.
Oh dear.
he gets back up again.
Can we even hurt this thing?
That fog! Oh no! I can't stop now. Damn it.
Stay focused, Kaine. Don't fall victim to such distractions.
Come on! We have to keep going! Let's go! This way! Move!
Goodbye, ballroom set piece. Hardly knew you. Now I have to do this set piece.
Up here!
I know.
How can we deal with this thing?
Please, hurry!
I'm trying. Depth perception's not easy in this one. Nope, we're gonna be locked in. Come on.
Damn it, I can't get it open!
And then...
Attack incoming!
I mean, they didn't have to even show the door opening or closing, I guess.
The entrance is locked too!
It seems we are in a bit of a predicament.
Come on, Deus Ex Machina, come in here.
Oh, you pissed her off now. Maybe you shouldn't have killed her friends. Look at her, so full of scorn and hate. She's just like you, Sunshine.
Like you're any different. Hate is just another crush for you.
Hey now.
You're in pain, you're lonely, no one likes you. So you try to hide it under violence and hate.
I'm not like that at all.
It's okay.
It is.
I'm the same way. But just realizing that isn't going to help. It's too late for us now. It's too late for everything. We're too far gone, you and me. That's why we...
How many more times do I have to kill it before the cutscene stuff happens?
Tasa, Tedo to, Chi iru to te.
手槌わせようり一旦おきっとだあらペルアと試練地無責音イラコフ
かついて
What are you doing here?
サルリとしたとカイザムとキロだ
You are correct.
いやアラトテ三世隊
フルワリ割とてトラスハンカシキンデ But
アラペルアと
ドクター来てキリゴイタニ
アンフィアとさちちさったととメルタカイザムチと
Stop! Let me go! Stop it! Damn it! King, no!
ギ後でアリクラーサ開こ
No! Open the door! You can't fight that thing on your own!
うゆくくおたおきアルタビエトクルトこっちいる勝てケイタルイトエチケロアルテリアだせ
ギルジ
各石技師
集中カレルタカイザンテラス
なんだあらたてウラーヌペルアトチ
ウラーヌカイマゼルトトチOpen the damn door!
There we go. I like that they actually have the
Knock it off
the
already.
controller rumbles
Let's
when
go.
she slaps you.
He's fighting for you. And for Fira. Don't let him die for nothing.
My friend.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? I can...
Devila! Popola!
Oh, look. You made it. We've been waiting for so long.
Why are you doing this?
It began 1300 years ago. Humanity, finding itself on the brink of extinction, undertook a last-ditch rescue plan called Project Gestalt.
Gestalt?
Do you still not remember, Grimoire Weiss? Then let's give you a refresher.
Vice! My mind. I remember. Devila. Popola. You are not human. In fact. Oh no.
Yeah, sometimes the truth can be a real bitch. You want to finish that thought for him, sister? All of us, every person standing in this room, are mere shells created by the true humans.
I just don't understand how it's like they don't have a soul, but it's like, what is a soul then if not memories, feelings, desires, and and personality and all that other shit going on? I don't understand like how it's like, oh, you're just souls. It's like they have emotions and can think. I don't know how to. It's God damn it, I don't know. It's very confusing how the distinction they make, and I'm guessing maybe that's the point here. But it's one of those things that I find annoying in just literature or concepts in general sometimes.
What are you saying?
You still don't get it? You aren't human.
And so what?
So then humans, I mean, the true humans are extinct?
No, they still live on. You know them as shades.
So in this case, they're trying to do the whole Ship of Theseus thing, that they're still humans despite removing all the humanity out of them.
Each shade is a twisted remnant of what was once a human being.
So it's like a zombie then.
Crazy, huh? Now let's skip the part where you stand there with your mouths agape and just get down to business.
Wait.
Sorry, but we're gonna be needing that shell of yours. The rightful owner has been waiting for a very long time. Please don't be angry with us. We are only doing our duty. Our endless existences have a single purpose: to control the lives of others in accordance with the will of the true humans. You have your own motives, your own desires. And we have ours. I fear it really is just that simple.
Don't speak such foolishness.
Sorry.
I just wanted to check on the notes real quick though. That's not news. So I was just wanting to figure out real quick. Let's see. So Project Gestalt. We've determined that the rise of relapses was due to an unexpected spike in the sentience of replicants, as well as a genetic instability within the original Gestalt. It seems the original's effect on bodies that have undergone the Gestalt process was not anticipated in advance. So it's like, you guys turned yourself into other beings. You aren't humans anymore. Doesn't mean you're worthless, you're just not human anymore, whatever that means. Immediate action must be undertaken to identify the links between this trend and the original Gestalt, along with its sister, the relapsed case known as Yona. Okay. A genetic instability within the original Gestalt. The original's effect on bodies that have undergone the Gestalt process. Let's see. We're using code NieR. Launch Vice. So that was our launch. I just want to kind of help myself understand a little bit better. Implementation of Gestalt mode can prevent the white chlorination. Okay. Bodily information. Replicants. Okay. The original Staples Ordem site. Okay, so it is like a farm. But it sounds like it must have broken down over time. Oh, so it's actually a bacterial disease. So it was a magical bacteria, I guess? Let's see, relapse cases. Catastrophic loss of sentience seen in certain gestalts. Ah, okay, this is where it gets... Okay, I was wondering why the shades were attacking people. Is it because the... Oh, okay, so maybe the chlorination syndrome causing the attacking thing. Okay, so relapse is... So when they were in a gestalt, they relapse to the white chlorination syndrome. Which is apparently a bacterial thing, but once infected, it messes with your brain and makes you more violent, I guess. Okay. So then, the rise of relapses. Okay, so when the replicants started gaining a greater sense of... So then the replicants essentially started becoming the new people the original bodies, I guess, they were modeled after rejected them enough, I guess. I'm guessing maybe that's what's going on. The original. I want to get more into that aspect. Alright. Sorry, just briefly, I might have read through that stuff before, but I wanted to try to decode a little bit in my own memory of what...
You and us, we're the same. Tools in the hands of a master.
No, I'm nothing like you.
Devila? Devila? Popola, are you crying? No, don't die. You know, Popola, I understand now why we're twins. It's because we were born without souls. Devila, I can't stop the bleeding. Oh God, I can't stop it. This world is too lonely for one without a soul. There's too much emptiness. Our souls are missing. And yet somehow our tears still work. It's kind of weird. Sorry, sis.
I feel like the whole soulless thing is propaganda that they've internalized.
Devil! Don't you go! No, I can't be alone! Devil!
Okay, now it's gonna be, you think you can stop?
Let's stop this now.
Stop? Now you want to stop? You think you have the luxury to stop? You cut down my sister like a goddamn animal and now you want to stop? Popola, wait! It doesn't have to. No one stops! It's way too late to stop! No one stops!
Please, don't do this, Popola! You and Devila were like parents to me!
Those two have watched the world wither from time immemorial. The coolness of this is difficult to imagine.
I don't want to do this! I don't want to fight her!
Stop bitching and start fighting! It's the only way!
No stopping ever!
The bridge!
Blast! We're trapped.
I've got an idea.
I fear we're done for.
It'll be all right.
Huh?
You know, when I was young, I hated my eyes. And now that I'm older, I hate what my body has become. But there's something else there now. Something like pride, you know? I mean, without all this, I couldn't have become your friend. Goodbye, my friends. Thank you for everything.
Emil!
For so long, all I could do was destroy. But now, I have a chance to save something.
No!
Now get going, okay?
Emil!
Don't worry about me. I'm gonna be fine.
Emil! Emil!
Emil! You jackass, get back here! Emil!
Oh dear. Kaine's so unstable, and Vice can't stop arguing with people. I hope they can hold it together once I'm gone. Well, I guess they'll just have to learn.
I really love the way they did the cracks here.
I want to see you again. I want to see all of you again. Just one more time. I'm scared. I don't want to die.
Darkness, black without end. It goes on and on and on. Eyes closed. Eyes open. Matters not. The dark is joined by a mysterious sensation, one created by the mingling of blissful sleep with the unease of a terrible, never-ending cold. Is this a dream? Thinking to pinch his cheek, he reaches for his face, but his hand does not move. In fact, his hand has disappeared altogether. He looks at his arms and sees only bone. He looks at his feet and sees they have disappeared, along with the rest of his legs up to the thigh. What body remains begins to leave him, then, crumbling into fragments smaller than dust. His body is going, soon it will be no more. Is this death? Suddenly he recalls his past. He remembers the time he lived with his sister, and the very act of recollection is like a shooting star. Despite lasting only a moment, it brings color to the darkness. Soon more memories come, gathering atop each other one after the next until they meld into a warm and glorious light. Yay, new material. Wake up! Wake up! A set of covers are torn from the boy, leaving his eyelids exposed to the merciless sun. Hey there, lazy bones, says the voice again. The boy's vision, blurry at first, gradually grows more clear. Before him, her face aglow with a radiant smile, is his older twin sister, Halua. Morning, Halua! Don't look so cheery, you butt. The teacher's gonna be here any minute. Halua grabs her brother and pulls him beneath the bed with her, where they wait with a host of dust bunnies for their instructor's arrival. The moment Emil starts to ask a question, Halua shushes him by placing a finger over his mouth. Don't start. We agreed to this yesterday, remember? We're gonna jump out and give teacher the scare of her life. After a few ticks of the clock, the door opens and a slight woman enters the room. Good morning, Halua. Good morning, Emil. Are you ready for, Emil glances at his sister and sees her trying to stifle a laugh, which has the unfortunate effect of making a laugh rise in him. Then the dust bunnies decide to get in on the act, swirling up into their noses and causing the tricksters to sneeze in unison. Suddenly, the face of their teacher appears in the space between the bed and the floor. "There you are, you scamps. This is your fault," says Lua. "You ruined it by sneezing." "Me?" cries a clearly wounded Emil. "You sneezed just as loud." "That's enough, both of you," says the teacher. She attempts to hide her amusement. "Crawl out from under there and let me take your temperatures already." The pair happily shimmies out from their hiding place and stands before their teacher. She is a fair woman with a kind voice, one Emil would be happy to listen to for the rest of his life. In fact, he often thought that her waking him in the morning was his favorite part of the day. The teacher finds her seat, hunkers down, and lightly pats her leg, to which a happy Emil leaps into her lap. She then slides a chilly thermometer under his armpit, causing a shudder to race through his body. "I'm sorry, just be a brave boy for a little longer, alright?" Emil used to hate having his temperature taken daily. The thermometer was just so darn cold, but he's become used to it after being at the facility for the past 2 years. His mother and father had perished in an accident many years before. He'd been told the facility they sent him to was simply a home for orphans such as himself, but he'd always had his doubts. After all, most orphanages weren't staffed by doctors in white coats who held quote-unquote lessons involving the repeated asking of strange questions, nor did they attach wires to the bodies of their charges and force them to enter enormous boxes. The process is endless, the tests unceasing, and yet Emil feels his teacher somehow floats above it all. She would talk to him about everyday problems, read him books, and even share a meal when time permitted. She is the closest thing he has to a mother. With both of their temperatures taken, Emil and Halua wait for breakfast. But something is different this day. Their teacher is strange somehow, off. "Emil," she says quietly, "do you remember what day this is?" Emil looks over to his sister and sees her staring at him with an enormous grin. "Nuh-uh," she says, "you gotta figure it out yourself. It's probably birthday." But despite his best efforts, Emil comes up empty. "I'm sorry, ma'am," he says at last, "I just don't know." With a smile, the teacher reaches into the pocket of her white coat and withdraws a small package. It is a bag, neatly closed with string and tied with the top with a bright red ribbon. "Happy birthday, Emil," she says. "In fact, happy birthday to both of you." "Oh, thank you," cries Emil. "Can I open it?" "Of course," replies his teacher. "I'm afraid it's nothing so special, but I do hope you enjoy it regardless." Emil carefully unties the ribbon and opens the bag to reveal a small pile of cookies. They are the same snacks they always received at the facility, but the fact that they came from his teacher makes them somehow special. As a gasp escapes his mouth, his sister can't help giggling beside him, her eyes fixated on the bright red ribbon all the while. Oh, so she uses the ribbon. "Happy birthday, Halua," says Emil as he reaches into the bag, withdraws a cookie, and offers it to his sister. Needing no further encouragement, the girl crams the cookie into her mouth and swallows it in 2 bites. "Happy birthday to you, Emil." Then, as though remembering something, she leaps up and runs to the small chest of drawers the two of them share. After forcing open a stubborn drawer, she pulls out a single sheet of paper hidden under a white coat and runs it back to her brother. "Here's your present," she says, thrusting the paper at him with a slightly embarrassed look. When he glances down, he sees the words "Happy Birthday, Emil" scrawled in a shaky child's hand, along with a picture of a generously colored person who had been clearly created from every crayon in the box. That was me. Unable to stop himself, Emil wraps his sister in a massive hug. "Thank you," he whispers as she returns the embrace just as tightly. "I'll make sure to draw you on our next birthday, okay?" My sister was there. My teacher was there. It was my birthday. I thought I could never be happier. I'm glad Halua's drawing is the last thing I'll remember. I sense a deep and perfect darkness descending over my eyes, and realize my time has come. I'm so terribly cold. As I try desperately to remember what it felt like to be embraced, I wonder if this horrible face is all that's left of me. Halua, I'm sorry. I couldn't keep my promise. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I'm coming to join you now. Just hold on.
Wake up. Wake up. Please, wake up. Come on, Emil. Wake up already.
Halua, is that you?
You haven't changed a bit, have you, lazy bones?
Halua, have you come for me? Am I dead?
No, Emil. You're not dead. I'm just here to keep my promise.
In that moment, the world of blackness surrounding me explodes with color. Red, yellow, blue, and so many other colors. Colors I have no names for, colors I've never even seen. It's like something is using every crayon in the box.
I told you I'd always be watching over you, didn't I?
Halua, I don't...
Don't worry about it, you butt. Looking after little brothers is just what big sisters do.
Her voice, it's fading.
Sorry, Emil. Looks like I'm out of magic.
Halua, wait, let me come with you.
But you are with me. I'll always watch over you. So we'll always be together.
Halua, no, don't go.
Don't cry, Emil. I want you to be happy.
Halua.
Promise me that you'll live for both of us.
The darkness enveloping me flows away, replaced by a brilliant blue sky. I don't know where I am or what I'm supposed to do, but it's okay that I'm here. I know that much now. She's given me the courage to accept that. No more crying. I'll live with a smile on my face, because that's the promise I made her. How did you know it was talking? much for him as it is for herself here.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Need curing items. Oh, I can do the musician herb. There you go.
Jonah!
Wonder why him over all the others is the leader for this important run.
This ends here!
Strike hard. Hold nothing back.
How can a mere tool hope to stand against the Shadow Lord?
Don't speak in such a manner, fool. I am nothing like you.
Be careful!
I know.
Hey, sunshine. I ain't certain about this, but I think your heart is evolved. The hate is gone. The sadness is gone. It's just a bunch of white light now. What the hell's going on here?
You can't tell, Tanner. You're not the only voice in my life anymore. I've experienced fear, hate, and now sympathy. I'm a curse, a freak. I know that. But guess what? He still accepts me. He still forgives me.
Oh, come on. You're doing this for him?
I'm tired of this world and everybody in it. But I'll become his sword one last time. Vice, you alright?
Naturally, I am as fit as a fit.
Wait. Brother?
Yoda.
Please, just stop. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't need someone else's body. I don't want it. There's another girl inside this body. I can hear her. She won't stop crying. She says she wants to see her brother.
Yoda's been possessed?
This girl loves her brother too, just as much as I do. It's not right, you know? It's not right that she can't see him. It's you, isn't it?
Yes, it's me. Let's go home.
I'm really sorry. I don't know what to. I'm so very sorry. No matter what. Just know that I love you.
The shade that possessed her is gone.
You guys were alive a long time ago. Then you created a bunch of bodies that you were gonna just...
Cut! Watch over Yona for me. You want me to understand your sadness? You think I'm gonna sympathize with you? I swore to protect my sister and my friends. If someone puts them in danger, they must stand aside or be cut down. Now come on! Let's finish this!
That feels a little bit different this time. Come on.
Weiss, what's wrong?
You're freaking me out here, Vice.
What are you doing? I'm so...
You have to...
Strike the killing blow.
There we go.
No bother. One moment, please.
You okay?
Fine, just fine. All right, no, I'm not.
Weiss,
It seems some headstrong idiot has decided to push me beyond my limits. I should have taken that job as a cookbook when I had the chance.
Weiss, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Only joking. I hate cookbooks.
But
Let's go. Out of the way. I have one final task to fulfill.
where are you going?
Why, to stop him, of course. But after that, it's up to you. Only you can see this battle to its conclusion. I wish you luck, my friend.
You can't. I swore I'd always fight by your side.
You are an exceedingly stubborn lad. You know that, yes? Perhaps that's why I've so enjoyed our time together. But I fear this is where our journey ends.
Weiss!
Oh, and remember what I told you about using my full name? Well, forget it. I've grown rather fond of Weiss.
Weiss. I knew you'd come around.
Don't let it go to your head now.
It's hard to get depth perception in this.
I have something to defend. I have a reason to live. Shut.
This is different. Okay.
ashes.
I'm happy for him.
You know, Sunshine, that black scrawl has almost completely taken you over.
Yeah, I know.
But goddamn, we had fun, huh? Killing and killing and more killing. What a rush.
Yeah.
Wait. No. No. It wasn't fun at all. I turned you into a killing machine. I spread evil and chaos around the world. But it all feels so empty now. Why? I don't understand.
Sorry. Looks like you stayed inside me for a little too long. Sunshine.
Stop! Don't be nice to me! Don't make me feel like this! I'm gonna swallow you up, Sunshine. Gonna swallow you whole.
Do I get to?
Kaine? What is it?
Listen to me. The shade inside me is growing, and I can't stop it. Soon, real soon, I'm gonna go berserk.
I can't hold it back anymore.
Kaine, you have to fight. You have to...
Just shut up and listen to me. Emil is gone, all right? So there's no way anyone can stop me. Please. Before it comes to that, I want you to kill me.
So this mirrors.
Consider it enough of a request.
Okay, so this is a lot like the library decision. Okay. I hope I can survive this one.
Well, hell, Sunshine. It's not like I can stop it. When Gestalts go out of control, they lose their minds. Both of our memories will be completely overwritten.
Kaine!
Where's Yona?
Damn it! I have to do something. I won't! We made it this far because you were with us, Kaine. I'm who I am today because of you. I'm not going to give up on you. I'm not going to abandon someone I
I don't
love.
understand what I'm supposed to.
I'm going to save you. I swear it.
Okay.
Well, there might be one way to save her.
Who said that?
It don't matter, so don't ask. Just shut up and listen.
Wait, are you?
I said, listen! There's a way to save Kaine's life. all right? But you're gonna have to make a difficult decision.
I'll do whatever it takes.
When the time comes, I'm going to pin Kaine down. And as soon as I do, you need to stab her in the heart.
No, I can't.
Fine. Don't believe me. Stand around with your thumb up your ass and watch her die a terrible
Damn it.
Where is she? Aha.
Very nice. Now, if you want to save your precious Kaine, there are two ways to do it. One is to plunge your sword into her chest. That's what she wants after all. Freedom from burdens, freedom from life.
What's the other way?
The other way is to make her a normal human being again. But to make that happen, you gotta trade your own existence for hers. Well, there you go. Good luck with that.
You're that shade. The one who lives inside Kaine. Why are you trying to help her?
Probably for the same reason you are. Enough talk. Make your choice.
Okay. Normally in this game I would choose the self-sacrifice, but we're getting the first ending. So I'm gonna do this one first. Not the choice I want to make, but I'm gonna do this in order. So in this one I'm gonna actually follow her request.
Kaine. Let's go home.
Can you hear me? I spent years inside Kaine's body, tormenting her from within. I felt her pain, her emotions, as if they were my own. And there was so much pain. So when I say she's free now, I want you to believe me. Thanks to you, Kaine has been forgiven and saved. Oh wait, she had a final message for you. Thank you.
Kaine. We'll always be together.
This is a good ending so far. So, Hold on 1 second. There we go. Let's put this one here. Ending C has been achieved. Yes. Okay. So. I just want to double check. I think if I open up this file, it's like starting back at the library. I'm just going to double check. Otherwise, I will be probably grabbing this file or this. I'll put this file. Do our original file here up on top. Will be my decision here. So I'm going to take a quick break, and in the next section we'll be getting ending D. So see you, oops, sorry about that, in the next section.